their place into tomorrow's final. Two of the greats on show. Talking to greats, let's hand back to our two greats, Neil Foulds and Dave Hendon.
Thank you, Andy. Looking forward to the second half of this enthralling drama between Mark Selby and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Set up nicely, 2-2, first to 6 to reach the final.
5. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Well, Mark Selby managed to halt the O'Sullivan charge by winning that fourth frame. As battle resumes, a good break-off shot from O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan up on all the stats, but bottom line is match score all square. Remember, the head-to-head coming in favoured O'Sullivan 13 wins to 9, but Selby has beaten him in a total of 5 finals. O'Sullivan's won in 3 finals. They seem to meet, if they do meet, very much at the business end of tournaments. First meeting, though, between them for around about 2 years. The UK final 2016 was the most recent. That was won by Selby, 10-7.
Yeah, the strange thing is that they've both won quite a bit since then, haven't they? But they've never met along the way. I think a combination of Ronnie has done well in UK-based events. I know he won in Shanghai a couple of times. Generally in UK-based events where Mark Selby has struggled. Mark Selby has won a lot of events in Asia. Ronnie rarely goes to Asia, just for the Shanghai.
Well, Jimmy was saying he thinks it'll go the distance. They played 60-siders. Selby's won 4 of them. But a long way to go yet before we're near the end of this match.
Under the bolt cushion, place you want to leave your opponent all the time. He's looking at this red. It may well be that it's, if he gets in, of course, a shot that takes him around the back of the black and up for safety. Trouble is, if you miss it sometimes, it doesn't go off in the same direction. That's okay. Better than okay. It's a good follow-up. In the second frame, he left a red in this over this left corner, which cost him the frame. It's not quite as near the pocket this time.
One.
Playing into a nice area there.
4.
Plenty of options. Table not bad. Red above the black is the one he'll be looking to get on before too long.
5.
And that opens quite a lot up.
Ten. $11. 18.
Playing that well over the ball.
19.
Wanted to get straight on the over the black. Now I move that red above it, I think. Could be away now. 3 reds all look like they go to the left middle if he needs them.
26.
I think the bottom one in the 5,
27.
bunch of 5, also pots to the bottom right pocket.
$34. 35. $42. 43.
Well, it was pretty obvious that a couple of balls were available to that left middle. Shake of his head, though, O'Sullivan.
Just so
51.
highly focused, though, isn't he? As I said earlier, when the event began, he started a little loose. Just come from Coventry, of course, and was throwing his cue at a few, but still breezed through the early rounds. But now he's playing just excellent match snooker.
$56. 57.
Black to lead by 64 as we approach an hour's playing time.
$64.
Red and a colour needed.
65.
So that was frame rules, Dave pointed out. Question of whether he's going to go on and make another century here now. It was just the kind of frame he needed, though, on the resumption.
73. $78. 79.
Well, he could well be on now for this third century.
Yes, he played it so well, Dave,
86.
to not lose the cue ball there to the side cushion.
$87.
Well, that's amazing. And he's
And
really
O'Sullivan,
annoyed. He wanted
87.
another ton there.
On the frame.
Black has stayed out on 87. But he's won in the frame, and he's put Ronnie O'Sullivan back here in the first semi-final of the Northern Ireland Open. Looks set for a third century there, just broke down on 87. O'Sullivan's made 28 centuries this season. That's only in 4 tournaments. He's second on the list, behind Neil Robertson on 34. And he won it at 29th, didn't he? This was the black that he missed. He couldn't believe he'd missed it, actually. Caught the near jaw and wasn't happy about it. How did I miss it? There's never been more than a frame between them. That can change here, though, in this 6th frame. Selby knows that.
Yeah, not so easy to play a safety shot up the table with the reds all down there. Guess there is an area somewhere over near the top right pocket which looks relatively safe, but you might want to push one of the reds up and down. Cue ball somewhere behind the brown perhaps here. Just been a lovely atmosphere here today. There's real snooker enthusiasts here in Belfast, and well, he doesn't get a better matchup than these two, does it? World number 1 against arguably the greatest of all time.
No, it's always fascinating when these two play each other. They're very different personalities, but bottom line is they're both great snooker players, multi-champions, and they're producing the goods here today.
Touching ball.
Again, a fairly watchful frame. It's not impossible that this could be racked up again. It's just the reds further down the table which are causing the issue here. At this point, he's not quite at that stage. Well, it's a difficult shot to get the cue ball back there, and he's done it, but now this table is very dangerous for a player that makes a mistake. I mean, just look at the reds. They're all in open play. Ronnie will be keen to get the cue ball right back under the rail. Well, he's left something to the right middle. By no means easy, with the risk that you'll probably lose the frame if you miss it. But the lure that if you do get it, well, frame could be Mark Selby's here. Does he want to take that risk? And if he does play this red, he's got to play it 100%. Not even think about the possibility of missing it. Well, he can get his cue to the bottom of the ball, so he's playing the safety shot here. But again, he hasn't found the cushion. And he stuck the red that he refused himself. Now this is a very significant moment if he knocks this in. Well, there you have it. Well, that, in a nutshell, tells you the difference right now between the two players and their mindset. Because actually, I think Ronnie's was a little more difficult than the one that Mark refused.
You just expect a big break, don't you? Because of who it is, because of what he's done in the match. He's only missed 3 balls in the match, O'Sullivan, and only one of those actually was in live play, as it were. The one where he missed where it looked like a photographer put him off in the first frame. Anyway, he's in here.
Isn't he just in here? Look at these reds. This really is, I was going to say a gift, but it's not really, because he made it happen.
$12. 13.
Coming close to the 25th anniversary of his first ranking title, the UK Championship 1993, the week before he turned 18.
20. $25. 26.
I always think in a situation like this, keep it simple. Don't try anything too fancy. The reds are all in the open. You mustn't worry too much about high value colour. Just keep potting balls. Eventually, the winning line in the frame will come. Choice of reds too close together.
28.
The top one obviously moves, puts the other red in play.
29.
No option but to take the low value
31.
colours, but it doesn't really matter as long as he's still potting.
$32.
And also in the back of his mind somewhere must be the Ladbroke series, this run of 3 tournaments. Starts with the top 32 points earners for the season at the World Grand Prix, then top 16 for the Players' Championship, top 8 for the new Tour Championship. There's a lot of money to be earned. There's also a bonus for the
24.
player who does the best in the 3, so try to play himself into that.
Yes, and he's not by any means assured of being in it, as you
55.
say, because he's won a couple of invitationals which account for nothing regarding that series. If he doesn't play in every ranking event, then he's got to make sure the ones he does play and does well in.
$40. 41. $46. 47.
It's been hard work because of all the bolt colours he's knocked in this break, but he's eventually
52.
arriving at the point where the frame is just about his. Needs 2 more reds.
$53.
Well, now that he's played on the black, he doesn't need 2 more reds. It's his frame ball. It's been a hard break, although he was in with a great chance when he came to the table because he rolled a red very casually into the right middle. But as you can see, look at all the lower value colours he's taken.
Thing is, he made it happen. Selby turned down a red, preferred to play safe, wasn't absolutely safe. He left a chance. O'Sullivan took on the red, potted it, and he's made the winning break, as I think everyone expected him to once he got in where the reds were.
Yes,
65.
it was very revealing, that, I thought. Everyone plays the game differently, of course. But you felt that in some ways O'Sullivan's was,
66.
I thought, a tiny bit more difficult. He had the equal safety shot available to him as well. But he's in attacking mode, all right, and he's been like that all week.
70.
Well, he was annoyed that he didn't make the century in the last frame.
71.
Has a chance to make one here.
Yes, if he made a total clearance, he'd be one of the lowest I've seen. There's another magical shot. Look at that.
47. 78.
Absolutely perfect. Make a break of 112. Total clearance.
85.
It's been chipping away at those reds at the other end of the table all the way through.
87.
Yeah, he has practiced a lot over the years, of course, and you have to have the temperament to do it on the big stage. But there's also something just very special
90.
about him. That green wasn't clean, but it went in. Brown, blue and pink for the century.
$94.
So he earned the chance.
99.
With the red he took on. This is for his 3rd century of the afternoon.
105.
Next frame is massive for Mark Selby. Can't afford to go 5-2 down with O'Sullivan in this sort of mood. It's a total clearance of 112 from Ronnie O'Sullivan for the first time.
Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan leads Mark Selby 4-2 here in the semi-finals of the Northern Ireland Open. He's just made his 3rd century break. Strange thing about that last frame was that the first pot almost felt like frame ball. The way the reds were, you just expected either one of them to make the big break, and it was O'Sullivan who knocked the red in.
It's a good long pot and not the worst kiss. And I think Mark knows that he's only going to really affect the outcome of this game.
$11.
So, attempt to nip the cue ball into the bunch here. Well, it's okay. You know, the red has come up the table. It's gone too far to pot.
18.
Slowish walk around. Must confess, I thought he was on that red at first. He's on a more difficult one that you can see. The left-hand red goes to the right corner. That's not the sort of shot you want, especially with the red up there that he now can't get to. If he pots this, he was heading up into bulk. Unless he can stop it with a little screw shot. This becomes more difficult the more you look at it. That's a really good shot.
19.
When he's on form, nobody can match him in that department. You just have to keep pulling out shots. Which he's doing very well.
27. $33. 34.
Now just glance down the left side of the table. The shot to get into the bunch from the brown is on. It's quite a big target as well. Well, they'll settle for that. He didn't hit the bunch flush.
38. $39.
This is turning into a terrific game of snooker between these two.
46.
It always had that look about it, massive anticipation. Sometimes matches don't live up to it, but this one is absolutely top class.
47. $54.
He was always heading to that jaw. He wasn't sure. He smiles as well he might as the red
55.
drops. Another red and a black, and O'Sullivan would require a snooker.
62.
This is a quality contribution from Selby, it really is, bearing in mind what he's been hit with this afternoon.
Yes, and the applause is because that was the ball that wins him back a frame.
70.
Well, it started with a good long pot, and
71.
to the last frame, Selby being maybe more aggressive.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think he may have felt the last frame, if anything, has got to do him good and say, right, I have to take chances. I'm not going to win waiting for them to come. To go out and find them.
$78.
Well, the red stays out, so the break ends at
Mark
78,
Selby,
but he's done
78.
enough to pull one back. An important frame, I think, for Mark Selby, just to stay in touch. Sullivan's pot success, he's 98%. Selby on 94. I should say that the stats don't apply for the moments in the frames that were re-racked, so any misses or anything that happened in those moments in frame 4 didn't count. Meantime, this was the red in the last frame that Selby nearly missed. That could have made a big difference. It would have been over the pocket, and that was his little reaction. Went on to make the winning break.
I'm not sure if he went for that or played the containing shot. Either way, there was a red, and the black spot goes to the middle. Not an easy starter. No, always hitting the. Almost a free shot there. You seem to think he had at that red, which he didn't get all that close to, but he's done no damage.
O'Sullivan, as you can see, ahead on the safety stats. He's ahead on all the stats, for that matter. Scored over 250 more points, but there is still only a frame in it.
Well, I think he played that as if it was a shot to nothing cross double, but he missed it on the thin side by so far that nothing in that shot that was meant to work did work.
One.
It's a nice touch. He was coming in towards that black. Quite close, as Dave pointed out. Huge discrepancy in the point scoring. But it's all about just who wins the frames, basically.
Eight.
Well, it's no good after all that.
Ronnie O'Sullivan. 8.
Well, couldn't pot one, so next best thing is to keep it very tight.
Double kiss. Not good for Selby. Not good at all.
That was a seriously full ball double kiss, wasn't it? It wasn't even a glance. So he's been in for the second time in this frame, O'Sullivan.
I just think in a match of this quality, and it is high quality, that, you know, any mistake could be fatal. And it was noticeable as well when O'Sullivan did break down
8.
first chance. He just swallowed it down, played a good safety. He's got that patient attitude today.
Nine.
10 years ago, in this very venue, he won the Northern Ireland Trophy. That was a ranking event that was held for a few years, a decade ago. If you said to him then, 10 years on, you're still going to be very much at the top of the game, he may not have believed it. There's been various retirement threats and talk about walking away. He did walk away 1 year, but came back at the end of the season and won another World Championship.
Played that last shot particularly well, as Kewen was awkward. He had a longish bridge over a ball.
T4. 25.
Well, it's well played split, but for once, his next red is not easy. I thought he played it okay. Got some fizz into the cue ball, but it looks like he's got to play a cutback red to the right corner if he's going to keep this break alive.
Well, he's come round the back of the yellow as well.
33.
Yes, I think that's the best part about that shot, Dave. The pot was good, but the way that he had a control of the cue ball was very good. He kind of knew that it was going to shape around the table. Nothing worse than clattering into balls and you don't know where they're all going to end up. But he didn't do that at all.
Yeah, we just haven't seen the unforced errors from O'Sullivan. Things have gone wrong. They will do in this game, but he's so in control of every facet of his game right now. And, of course, of himself, which is important too.
36.
So edging closer to 5-3 lead. Mark Selby's made comebacks, many of them, including against this man, but if he does go 2 down with 3 to play, he's going to have to produce something very special to win this match.
42. 43.
Not much of an angle here.
$48. 49.
Well, so there's still enough points left. Should Selby come back to the table, but he wouldn't be having too much money on that happening. Little shake of the head. Red and the black, or red and the pink should be enough.
$54.
Just wonder if those 2 reds are plant to the left middle. I don't think Ronnie's had a look at those yet. It would mean that he could play this easily without too much in the way of position. It's just at least have a look at them, which he's doing. And if that's a plant, it means he's got nothing to do on the black. And the black, as I said, is frame ball. It's top jaw, but I think he could make it into one if he wanted. It's handy for O'Sullivan that is there. Just it means that that ball was quite a simple one. So Mark Selby needs a snooker. If this red goes in, it's
61.
frame over anyway.
And now he has a chance to make a 4th century in this match. And let's not forget, he broke down an 87 as well in the 5th frame. Well, you look at the scoreboard, I mean, he's okay in terms of the frame because there's only 59
69.
on. So it's not a century. but it's a good break of 69.
Ronnie O'Sullivan,
Mark
69.
Selby stays
And the
rooted to his seat. He's got problems here.
Frame 9. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
So Ronnie O'Sullivan needs one more frame. He'll be the first man into this Northern Ireland Open final here at the Waterfront Hall in Belfast. He leads Mark Selby 5-3. And Selby will know he just cannot afford to offer up any sort of chance. There was a double kiss in that last frame that left an opening. O'Sullivan made a 69 break from it. Thinnest of contacts. Well, he'll do well to pot one from there. For Selby, really, the challenge is twofold. First, keep O'Sullivan out, and then, when he gets a chance, he's got to do some damage himself.
Now, no thin edge on either side of the bunch that O'Sullivan can get down the table from. There's a wonderful touch from O'Sullivan. It's very, very close to the pink on the way through. Well, this is kind of range where Mark Selby's going to have to start knocking balls in. Tough as it is, this red.
O'Sullivan strong on long potting, 8 out of 10, effectively. But that's a terrific one from Selby, a very timely one as well from the world #1. And let's be honest, there are a few better players in adversity than Mark Selby. He's been in this position before many times, including against O'Sullivan when he won his first ranking title, Mark Selby, nearly 11 years ago now, the 2008 Welsh Open. He was 8-5 down to O'Sullivan in the final, won 9-8.
Six.
Just check to see if the black is available there, and I'm pretty sure it is. To the left. So this is where the comeback begins.
7.
almost releases the shackles a little bit when you know that you're a couple of frames down. For some reason, it can just make the game seem a little easier. But of course, usually when the player gets back into it, if it does get level again, the pressure starts to mount once more.
There's only one
50.
frame in the whole match where the person losing the frame has scored any points. That was the first frame. All the rest have been 1-0. But again, that doesn't include the re-racks in frame 4. So whoever's won the frames has dominated them completely. Selby hoping that pattern can continue here.
$22. 23. 30. 31. 38. 39.
'Now, for once, he's not quite perfect on this.
46.
Little nudge on the other red, I think, required here. Done well there.
47.
Little minor issue sorted out. Start signs that he's just queuing up a little bit better now. Not that he's ever been that bad. Just failed to match O'Sullivan with his amazing scoring power, which, as I said before, is, well, applies to almost everyone else on the tour anyway.
53.
But watching these two play each other, just want to see this match go on forever. It's terrific. Great standard.
54.
As Dave has pointed out, Selby not unknown to come back from behind against matches, especially O'Sullivan. He's not beaten yet.
$59. 60.
'Now, just looking to see, I think if the left red will go past the rest of the bunch to the right corner. Well, obviously not in the end, is what he felt. And that's fine. And he needs a red.
67.
Good enough split this in the gap between the reds.
So it looks like the pattern's continuing. O'Sullivan has not
68.
scored in this frame. It's been won with a big break by Mark Selby. And O'Sullivan knows only too well how Mark Selby often comes alive on the brink of defeat. So this match is still in the balance.
71. $72.
Got to hand it to Selby, though. Quality of O'Sullivan's play. A lot of players, I think, would have wilted by now. Not this man, though. He's missed that black, which is a surprise, but he's done enough with that break of 70. Selby 5-4. It was 5-3. Selby made 72 in frame 9. Can he force a decider? Second best on just about every stat, Selby, but it doesn't mean he won't win, because he's got such a will to win and such great poise when the pressure comes on.
He's very purposefully looking at this long red. What a stunning pot that is.
One.
And he's been tremendous at long range. He may well shake his head slightly, but he's not badly on the blue. Obviously the black's got to be got into play, but he's in first, crucially. Not bad. Slightly overhit, I suppose. This is a bit of a struggle to get to. He's really stretching on this. Didn't look comfortable, did it, at any point?
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6. One.
Now needs an angle on a colour to get these reds open.
6. Seven.
That looks perfect. Lucky cue just slithered off the side of the bunch there.
11.
Didn't really get into them, obviously hit the pink instead of the reds. There's always a chance something would come out into the open though, which it hasn't.
Mark Selby, 11.
It's quite dangerous or attacking, whichever way you want to look at it, to play that shot. He's left what could be a big pocket up there into the left corner, the top red. It's not a certainty, but you can either pot it directly or off the red near the pocket here. The other option is to plant the 2 balls that are near the pocket themselves.
One.
Certainly played it well, and he goes into the bunch here. You get the reds open. The problem is, as you saw in the replay, that the pink and black are out of play somewhat. Wow. Goodness me. There were reds heading towards all pockets there. It was the one in the middle that did for him in the end.
Well, yeah, it looked like he got away with this, didn't it? The red looked like it was going in this corner here. The other one just flicked it out the way. Meanwhile, there's another one going in the left middle. Thanks a bunch.
One.
Well, he's a bit further away from this red than he would have wanted to be. Very sweetly struck, though. It'll be tough to win the frame here, but you wouldn't put it beyond him the way that he's such a creative player. It's going to take a lot of thought, though. Don't think he'd go near the pink and black right now. Try and get what he can around the remaining colours that are on. I suppose he could, if he really wanted to, he could pop the blue and try and develop the pink. It's an option, especially with reds that are in play. Be an unusual way to go about it. No, he's on the thin one, that's all. Don't know if he's on the one he's very close to. This is proving to be a very awkward little break to make. Again, the cue ball just drifts a fraction too far. Table has been recovered overnight. Maybe it's a little bit more lively than it was playing yesterday. It's a good shot. He's getting a huge cheer. I think the crowd are,
16.
while they're enjoying this match, I think O'Sullivan is their man of the two.
Few oohs and ahs as the white travelled towards that pocket, which of course was Mark Selby's undoing when the red went in.
Yes, he's looking to see if both of those red skirts looked like they probably did from an earlier shot.
Such hard work, this break. Can't make a century, he's made 3, but if he were to win the frame at this
22.
visit, it would be the best break of the match.
Yes, it's just getting onto his colour that's the problem in all the way through.
T3.
This has gone miles too far. That is not where he wanted to be.
25.
Now as I said, the right-hand red of the two seems to go. He could still cut it back in, but it's obviously very difficult from where he is. Terrific. That really is a special shot. He didn't want the break to end. He had a safety shot on.
26.
Well, what a break this is. I mean, it's only 26. Doesn't sound much, does it? But the shots he's pulling out to continue it. Here's another one. Just brilliant. Steadily building a lead. You can just see how much O'Sullivan wants this win. And after all that, he misses that blue.
Slight deceleration.
RONNIE O'SULLIVAN, 26.
That's why he overcut it. And Selby out of his chair very quickly. That came as a surprise after all of that hard work. That's a clever shot because he feels that the pink can be played directly off the red here. O'Sullivan will be pretty disappointed, more than a little bit, I should think, the way that that ended.
7.
Just didn't hit that blue with any real authority for once.
Eight.
Just decelerated through this. Means it swerved off of a true course slightly.
So still the problem of that safe red on the side cushion.
14. $50.
Well, David's interested in the double, but it looks the red's a bit close to the cushion for that. He could possibly do it. Might be looking to get first good safety shot in. Takes him doing that cannon. I think he played the cannon, but it'd take really, really difficult shot.
21.
Well, it's a tight frame, and there haven't been too many of those. Frame 1 was the closest. All the rest, as Dave was saying, have been 1-0 by either player.
Mark Selby.
Well, by his
21.
high standards, that was not a particularly good shot at all to put the pink safe. Debatable whether he'll need it at the end of this, but it's just not put O'Sullivan in any trouble here. Well, played snooker behind the brown. It's gone too far. This is not easy. You can see it, but it's not easy.
He got so close to it. He needs some help with the blue. And he's got it. And he knows it. That could well have been match over had he left that on.
I think he played it pretty well, O'Sullivan there. He didn't have complete control over it, but he wanted to hit the other side of the red, which he managed. Yes, Selby had a stroke of good fortune there to make up for the earlier red that he knocked in.
Well, we've had a lot of breaks today, but this close frame now is thrilling. Good shot from Selby, a little tap on the table from O'Sullivan. 4 points in it. Great touch.
Yes, he could afford to play it that way. If he hit it off the one cushion, the pink was obviously in the way of him sticking the red. It kind of feels as if this is a deciding frame, doesn't it? Just the tension in there.
it's actually the longest frame of the whole match, and it's only just coming up to 20 minutes. Yeah, it's been quick, as you can see.
It's a very difficult shot to play that he's tried there. With the left-hand side against the nap of the cloth, you can always catch those thick. Well, I'm not sure Ronnie would have turned that one down, but I understand that he felt that one mistake could have been end of match. Yeah, the cast iron safety shot, I suppose. Well, it's made difficult by the fact that he's over the top of the black. Well, the in-off might not be the worst thing.
Foul. Mark
Obviously,
Selby, 4.
he's got a long red, but he would have been much shorter range otherwise.
Well, points level on the last red. Big shot coming up from Selby if he decides to take it on.
He's shaping up to get an angle on the black if he knocks this in, but the pot is everything here.
One.
Very cleanly done. And you feel the next issue would be just making sure he gets behind the green. With brown and the green up the table as they are. Well, it looks pretty
8.
good.
He's going to need down to the blue to force a decider.
Yes,
10.
he couldn't afford to have too much angle on the green because he couldn't hold for the brown, but I think he's all right there.
30.
So this
70.
blue then, and it looks like we're going all the way to one more frame. Mark Selby has kept his head, stayed on his feet while all the heavy hitting, all the punches were thrown. In it goes. It's some effort, I tell you, to get to 5 each the way O'Sullivan was playing. But he's done it. And there'll be one more frame to decide who's going into the final. Mark Selby, as so often before, fighting a great rearguard action. So from 5-3 to now come through. They played 60-siders before. Selby's won 4 of them.
Well, should be pretty regulation off the left cushion into the bunch.
Very close to the red, but it does pot. It did. It's not in.
Yes, and for a while it looked like the keyboard was going to head behind the yellow there on that red, but it hasn't. Of course, it's not an easy shot by any means.
The point is, despite being hammered for a couple of frames, Selby didn't lose heart. That's the thing. He just doesn't go away. At times in this match, it's been a bit like James Bond running through a hail of bullets, but not being hit. And now he's in the decider with a chance. And he's got the class to finish it off.
It's a very good chance.
6.
I think someone just moved in his eye line there as he was lining up this one.
Seven.
Might seem a strange thing to say, but I think what's made a difference in this match was those 2 re-racks in the 4th frame, because O'Sullivan had made back-to-back centuries. He was absolutely buzzing. Selby had been completely shut out. That just took the sting out of the momentum that O'Sullivan had. Obviously, since then, he's played really well. He led 5-3, but If it had been 3-1 up at the interval, he could really have run away with this. But obviously also what's made the difference is just Selby.
40.
As a person, as a player. The character that he's shown.
$21. $22. $29. $30. $37. $38.
Well, I think there might be a red in the middle of the bunch that goes to the right corner, but of course he's got the other two, which go in that pocket as well. If he can screw up the table, you see that red in the middle of all of those seems to be available. He's got an angle to possibly stun straight across to the right here. There's the red that he might be able to play on at some point.
$45. $46.
Well, the red he took has actually opened up 2 or 3 other reds as well. Wow. That has come from nowhere.
Mark Selby, 46.
And that will hurt him. Too much thinking about the next red, forgot the obvious, the pot.
Well, if he loses now, he'll remember that for a long, long time, that black. Black off the spot, unforced error.
Yes, strangely enough, O'Sullivan missed one early like that. It was one of the reasons he never made another century. I think he was on 87 or something. Hit the same part of the pocket. Well, is O'Sullivan still geared up?
One.
Was he thinking about the defeat that seemed to be coming his way? It seemed hard to think that Selby was going to break down when he did. He hadn't looked like missing in that break.
It's going to be tough to take if he does lose now. A match that he looked set to lose earlier this afternoon. Got himself the advantage in the decider, but he's now back in his seat.
$6. $7.
Well, that's not a very good shot from O'Sullivan. You know, he's got plenty of reds over this side. It's a little tricky one here. he will be below the line of the black. Played it really well. Just the kind of shot that you can miss if you're really struggling, or you're really under some sort of extra pressure, as he is. Well, it's been a great match, this, isn't it? But this twist,
50.
I didn't really see coming when Selby got in first. Might yet be other twists. I'm already looking at the yellow later on. If you plotted all these reds, getting on it would not be straightforward
22.
with the brown covering it to his own pocket.
$23. $30. $31.
There's a loud noise there in the arena. It didn't affect O'Sullivan. I think someone dropped something or something.
$37. $38.
Well, he's a little straight on this. Wow, he was trying to make an angle there that just did not exist.
Ronnie
He was
O'Sullivan.
determined to play that
38.
shot, even though if he'd looked at it, to swing that up for the red, it's just a bit too straight.
One.
Well, it's a little in between. I think he played on the red in the middle, but he wouldn't know which pocket to play it in now, middle or down into the top right.
7.
Playing it in the middle takes him down potentially towards playing the brown, which could help him. It's a bit congested, that yellow, brown and black all in a line. Will give him something to think about.
Wow, you heard someone shout out, no, okay, he's got the snooker.
That's an outrageous fluke. Hit the knuckle of the middle pocket.
Well, it is now one of those deciders, so Sullivan happy to be back at the table, but finds himself snookered.
This is not nice to hit.
Foul and a miss. Mark Selby, 7. Free ball.
And what do you do here? I mean, you can have it put back. It's not a nice snooker to try and hit. Try and be a bit clever here, but O'Sullivan was in enough trouble. He was in enough trouble, O'Sullivan, behind the ball he was snookered on. Has to be the right decision, I think, from Selby.
Black.
You can hear that Michael Kessler is the marker who's helping Greg Coniglio get the balls where they were.
Yeah, there's Micah, a fine referee in her own right from Germany.
It's just a horrible snooker. The red is just too much in the middle of the table to be easy to hit. I'm not sure it's on.
Foul. And a miss.
I think
Selby 4.
there's an argument here that the pink is in the way of the natural 3-cushion angle. He's got to get so close to hitting it.
Mark.
Wow, that was tight. Well, all you can say is he seems to have the line. Is it a free ball?
Selby 4.
Well, it's getting costly, that's for sure. It's 30 in it now, so 2 more misses. He'd need a snooker himself.
He's just getting there. He seems to be learning this angle. It's very, very tight.
It's close to the pocket. Oh, my word, it's gone in. Can you believe it?
Words fail me. What a thing to happen.
What a match. What a decider. What a sport.
Yeah, and this goes in and he's on the yellow. Then all of a sudden, it looks like he'll be favourite.
Needs to pot it. Yeah, he needed that. Well, I think all bets are off now as to what's going to happen next, but he's given himself a chance.
5.
Yes, he's not quite straight enough on this. He's looking at going all around the table. Well, this is a masterful shot. This really is absolute dynamite. What a touch.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, he was unlucky to be snookered. Obviously, he was lucky to fluke the red, but it's just been one of those deciders, isn't it?
Well, he's walked around the table, I think, just to compose himself. He knows the brown goes. He knows where he wants to be. He just doesn't want to rush into any shots.
10.
4 balls left. O'Sullivan needs them all to clinch the most thrilling victory imaginable.
Well,
14.
the way this match has ended is quite something.
Pink and black to reach the final.
19.
Well, just anywhere straightish. Screw the cue ball past the middle. Goodness me, he's almost straight on this. It's a brave way of playing it under pressure.
25.
A memorable match this. High quality, dramatic. It's come down to the last ball. A truly unbelievable finish.
And the match. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ronnie O'Sullivan reaches the final here in Belfast as the players conduct their own post-mortem. He would have felt bad